So my little cousin, he watches this. He watches every upload. And then someone else I know, he watches upload. They both have said to do the watch along. And no one said no yet, so I fear I may have been outvoted.
What, they both want us to do it?
Yeah, they both want us to do the watch along.
Well, let's do it then. I've got all the Champions League games that we can watch on a laptop, so we'll just record on your laptop and watch the game on ours, and we can watch City Madrid or something.
So it seems like that is going to happen against my wishes, but we'll see how that goes. Right, obviously we're doing this again. So this is probably the most topic-rich episode of these that we're doing, because we're in the thick of football season, we're in the thick of NBA season, and the NFL off-season has started. So we're going to start off on the football stuff. So Owen, it's a very bad week for our Arsenal agenda, wasn't it? City drew, Arsenal won, and now it's 7 points. City only have one game in hand. Like, it's no longer in City's hands, and Havertz is back, and he can't finish to save his life. But Arsenal played better with him in the lineup. This is a very bad development.
Especially because they drew to Forest.
Forest away, 17th.
I'm still not counting City out until the game at the Etihad. But the sad thing now is Arsenal have enough separation where Arteta can just play for a draw at the Etihad.
Yes. He doesn't have to win anymore.
So, I mean, it would still be pushing it. But they're 7 points clear. City have obviously got a game in hand. But I really do fear for our agenda and for the success of Mikel Arteta and Arsenal.
And the thing is, obviously, we both said that after the United game, that they could still win it. Neither of us would be stunned if they win it. But it's just at the point now where we are in a good position to the point where they might flounder and it would prove us right. But unfortunately, City just didn't have enough good players this year to really hack it out all the way. And now it seems as though Arsenal might finally get their grubby paws on a title, which would be very, very sad.
Yeah.
Because they've got some players back now as well. I mean, Havertz is probably the key to that, because Gyökeres is one of the worst strikers I've ever seen. Like,
Who do you think will win Player of the Year this year?
well, they've shifted it to more of an MVP type thing, haven't they? It's no longer just about who a good player is, right? So, like, a few years, like, if we even go back to, like, 2012, I'm pretty sure Van Persie won. Arsenal finished third. The year after that, in 2013, Bale won. Spurs finished fifth. 2014, Suarez won, and you guys...
Whereas since it's been like when City won, Foden got it. And
yeah, exactly. When in reality, like 2018, I'm just running through in my head. 2018, Salah got it, and you guys finished fourth. 2019, Van Dijk got it because of a freakish season. Yeah. 2020, De Bruyne got it. So there were a few years where a guy who you would legitimately call the best player in the league won it.
Well, I think mostly it has been like it was Salah last year, Haaland.
But does Salah win that if you don't win the league? Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think he does just because of how like record-breaking the season was.
Like, let's pretend for 1 second that City were normal City. Haaland's not scoring 50 goals, but Haaland's scoring 20 league goals and. I think it's going to be Declan Rice. He's sort of the face of this Arsenal team.
Do you reckon they'd give it to a defender like Gabriel?
I think Rice going two ways. He's English. He is legitimately really good, even though he can't really play football like that.
Just the English propaganda. No, I think they'll give it to Gabriel personally.
Yeah, so
because he has been the figure. They're a defensive team, and he's been the figurehead of the defence.
Yeah, so 21 De Bruyne won it, league winner. 22 Salah won it, league scorer and assists. Haaland won it, Foden won it. Yeah, so the last 3 years have all been title winners. The last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years have all been guys who finished in the top two. So it's only going to be a City or an Arsenal player.
And no City player has played well enough this year
to
merit it.
Haaland's been good.
He's fell off recently, though.
Yeah, he tends to struggle over this.
He always has a really hot streak at the start of the season.
Yeah, January, February time, he always tends to fall off.
Starts to plateau.
Like, he's got 29 in 39. Like, he'll probably finish on 40, which is really good. 35 to 40 goals, but it's just
Do you mean all comps?
Yeah. This is
Yeah,
all confident. In the league, he's 22 in 28.
Yeah.
So he'll finish top scorer, but it's nothing.
He'll finish with 25 plus, but considering the insane pace he was on in the very first 15 games,
I don't know what it is. It just seems like physically he can't handle that level of intensity for 50 games in a season.
it's like the opposite of Harry Kane. Harry Kane just can't score in the opening weeks,
Yeah.
and then he starts to heat up.
How do you see So I think it will be Rice if they win it. It'll be Rice or Gabriel probably.
You go Rice, I'll go Gabriel as our picks.
I feel like you don't want Declan Rice to win.
No, I don't.
Yeah, neither do I. Because I don't he's a very.
I don't want Gabriel to win either because I think he's arrogant.
Yeah, but he's if someone says Gabriel is really good, no one has a problem with that statement, do they?
Yeah.
Like, there is still a subset of people who say Declan Rice isn't very good. And I get it because he is stiff and he's not good at taking it on the half turn, but he is a good passer and he is a great ball carrier. So, and he's just a monster defensively.
Yeah. No, I would not say he's not good. I just think.
And when I say the subset, I mean these are the same people who think Eden Hazard's better than Mo Salah. And they think that, and I think Cristiano Ronaldo is a bum, back in the day. So, they're not from people who should be taken seriously, but everyone knows people like that in real life. But they look at him and it's oh, he's terrible. They're more common than the XG understat. Oh, well, this amount generated X threat. It's shut up, I will punch you in the throat.
Yeah. But I think those two will be top two consideration, although I'd give Gabriel the edge.
I think it will be those two.
What about the top four race? Who do you think makes it?
I think Villa drop off. They can't score goals.
Yeah.
I think they've scored 34 goals this entire season.
I think Villa won't even finish top five because I think they'll have a very poor end to
top four, top five. I think let's assume that 5 teams do get the. It's annoying because we've said our entire waking lives we've called it top 4, and now it's basically a top 5 every season because an English team is guaranteed to make it deep every year.
Yeah.
But no, it is function top 5. I think that Villa drop off. I don't think they have enough scoring juice to make it. I'm sure they're on only 34 goals for the entire season, and their goal difference is only +4 or something.
So do you think United, Chelsea, Liverpool?
Yeah, they'll make it. Let me get this full one. Yeah, Villa. They've scored 39 goals all season, but then they've conceded 34. And traditionally, over the last couple of years since they've got Emery, you'd think of Villa as a solid defensive unit. And 34 goals is the same amount as Chelsea. It's only 5 less than Liverpool. So, and Liverpool have seemed to have an awful defence this year. It's one more than 8th place Everton. It's the same as 11th place Sunderland. One less than 13th place Crystal Palace. Now, some of these teams, they have issues scoring the ball, yes. But at the same time, it's Villa can't score 39. If we were to do that, out of all the top 10, they only have less goals than Everton, who are on 34. Mm-hmm. And Everton are also 8 points behind Aston Villa.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think they drop off. You guys have started to round into a bit better form. You always lose games late, which is a really worrying trend. But
that's been happening all season as well. It's not a small sample size.
I feel like it's something that we talked about a few weeks ago, where it's slots, methods, they seem to burn, they take the intensity out of the players. So at the end of games, they're a bit more tired.
Yeah.
But you've won 3 of your last 5. You've won 3 of your last 4. You've not... And even one of those losses before that was City, where you lost in the 90-something minute to Haaland.
We've lost in injury time so many times this year, I can't even count. We lost against Bournemouth in injury time. We lost against Crystal Palace in injury time, City. It's happened so much. It's against Leeds as well in injury time. There's been so many.
even Fulham, you scored in the 94th minute to take the lead, and then Harrison
Yeah.
scores in the 97th. I think we were recording one of these then.
That was a draw as well, and then also there was Sunderland, who we conceded too late.
I mean, Leeds the other time, 96th minute.
Slot, he needs to go. The other concern is when we're away from home, we can't score in the first half. I think we've scored something like 5 to 7 goals in the first half of away games.
I think long term, well, I guess you're not even worried about long term because you need Champions League to cover.
Yeah, we're just worried about the end of the season.
I don't worry as much about you scoring goals because you still do have Ekitike and Wirtz. And Wirtz is running into a bit better form. So I think you'll score enough goals to get...
What I'm saying is one of our problems is we don't establish leads early like we did last year.
I see.
Last year we would have a comfortable lead and then we'd manage the game. This year it's like we either concede first or we go scoreless in the first half. And that's why I think one of the reasons why it's happening is because the game, so much is at stake late in the game, so often that it can go either way. And it's like we're not. There's been no game management, and we can't establish an early lead like we were last year. But that's down to Slot. And
yeah, it doesn't if you can't score early, a lot of the time it is if you're bad in opening 20 minutes or so, a lot of that is to do with what the coach does. So the best example I can think of teams that really would come out in the first 20 minutes is your guys' team in 2014, Suarez, Sterling, Sturridge, Coutinho,
Yeah.
and then obviously you had obviously your defence was horrible, but Rodgers would always get those guys amped up and ready, and you'd feed off the crowd and you would score goals in the opening 20 minutes. I remember one time against Arsenal, you were 4-0 up inside 20 minutes, and it's just
the thing is though, last year we were doing it. It's just Slot has even openly come out and said the way we bought in the summer transfer window, we weren't counting on the league evolving the way it has this season. But you need to adapt, and he hasn't been able to so far.
So obviously Slot's not going to go anywhere until the end of the year. Obviously, I think it's pretty nailed on. You're going to get Alonso, but how do you feel? How do you feel about going into next season? Because obviously, you still have a bunch of holes, right? You've got fullbacks, you've got starting centre backs. I think Konate is going to resign. I don't think
we need new fullbacks. None of them can play.
See, I don't think your fullbacks are as much of an issue because no, I'm saying going forward, right? So you have Van Dijk, you have Konate. I think bigger concern is getting an extra centre back in.
Well, we've already got Xhaka from Rennes.
Yeah, you got him, and then
We got Leone, who did his ACL, popped it earlier this year.
I think you need 5 centre backs, and then I think you just need to have 5 centre backs, 2 for each side, and then 1 as a cover. And then I think your biggest issue is midfield and balance up top. To be honest with you, Gravenberch, I like him, but he can't pass. He's someone who he needs to be able to carry the ball and dump it off. And then Wirtz and McAllister simply can't play together. They're too similar, they're too small. And even though McAllister's super brave and he'll dive in with anyone, it is a World Cup year, and South Americans generally don't care about play. They generally care less about their club in a World Cup year because they're getting paid regardless and they just want to be healthy. And McAllister's a starter for that Argentina team as well. He's one of Messi's favourite teammates.
He's had a big drop off this year, McAllister.
He has, but what I'm saying is that a lot of his value is, I think it's really just a horrible position for him because he struggles to play with Wirtz as it is. Naturally, my first thought when you signed Wirtz is, that's a bit long for McAllister to play with. And there's also a World Cup year, so he's thinking, all right, what do I care about here? We're not going to win anything anyway. Just let me stay ready for the World Cup where we can potentially defend our title and go down as one of the best sides ever. Because if they win this World Cup, that's back-to-back Copa Americas and back-to-back World Cups.
Yeah.
And obviously I don't know, I've not done the research on it, but I'm assuming that no one has ever done that. As in won their prospective continental title and then won the world title.
Four
So,
times.
like, there's 4 straight titles. Spain only managed 3 because they did quarterfinals before the Euro 2008, and then they got bounced in the group stage in 2014. And no one else has really gone on a great run like that. Maybe Brazil, because they won 97, 98, 99, and then 02. So they won 3 in a row. No, 2 in a row. So I don't know. He's in a tough spot there. And then going forward, Salah's going to walk. I think you'll sell him. You'll get. I mean, who knows what the Middle Eastern clubs are going to do in terms of buying players now?
Well, who wants to go to the Middle East right now? What player wants to go to the Middle East? Like, I don't get how much you're being paid.
Like, a lot of it was like, because for ages, longest time, you were just thinking, oh yeah, you can just ship him off to Saudi.
But now it's a lot more uncertain.
And now there's a lot more issues in the Middle East than there was 3 weeks ago. So I don't know, because we'll have to see. Because I don't even know where else he'd go, because he's not going to be happy with a bench role.
I think he plays out his contract.
And nowhere in Italy can afford his wages.
Because I don't think he has value, really. I know that sounds bad, but no one wants a 33, 34-year-old Salah, mainly because of ego. Because we see what happens when he's not the star man.
I think he could go to Italy, and he could still do a job there. But I just don't know. They just can't pay him.
Well, yeah. They can't pay him the kind of money he wants. Especially the contract he's under at Liverpool.
Yeah, because you guys are paying him like 400 grand a week.
Which he's not going to walk unless he's paid that much. And what top club is going to pay him that much with the value he currently has?
You basically have to pay him to go away. Like, which isn't going to happen.
In total, we need 2 or 3 forwards.
Yeah, because Gakpo's going to walk.
Don't even get me started.
Yeah, I mean, I'm vindicated. I have been saying for 3 years this guy.
Gakpo's a bench player.
He's bun. Yeah, he's just a fine bench player. I've been saying 4 years this guy's buns, and everyone's been saying, "Oh no, he's good." And it's like, no, this guy, he's good for cutting in and blasting the ball, and that is it. He's not good for anything else. And and it's just like, no, he had Mo Salah feeding him wonderful passes, McAllister playing frankly fantastic football for the first 2 years of his time at Liverpool, and I think you still had Firmino his first 6 months at the club, and Firmino and Gakpo are tailor-made to play together.
Which guy are we dropping from the midfield? Because we can't drop Szoboszlai, and we need a new number 6. So the question is, are you dropping Gravenberch or McAllister?
So, wait, are you assuming that you guys are going to play a 4-3-3 next year?
No, I don't know what we're going to play.
Because I think you play a diamond.
I've been saying that. Well, you've got Isak and Ekitike and Wirtz. Play in the 10 and play the diamond. And if we do that, assume we bring in a new number 6, who are your 2-8s?
So Szoboszlai's there, Adam Wharton, and that is the one place that's the one shape that I'd like to see McAllister in. Outside of that, keep him out. I think McAllister, Curtis Jones, or Gravenberch can play in that left centre midfield.
Yeah.
Because I like Szoboszlai doing the tractor engine stuff for Frimpong and covering that right side. He can give you a bit of width as well. Adam Wharton's a passer. You have McAllister or Jones or Gravenberch in that left side. I think one of those 3 go.
Mm-hmm.
I think Curtis Jones is actually the most likely to go, even though I think you'd fetch more money from McAllister.
Yeah.
And like McAllister in Italy could still be would look like one of the best midfielders in the world, and he would still do a job in Europe as well.
Yeah.
Because in Europe he's always your best midfielder, like without fail. So you have Wharton, McAllister, Szoboszlai and Wirtz, and then you have the 2 forwards. And then you can just fill in the rest. Gakpo, we'll see what happens with Chiesa. You have that Ungamoa as a nice bench piece.
He needs to work on his decision making.
He's 16 years old, leave the kid be.
Or else he's going to turn into Jeremy Doku. That's what he could become unless he works on his decision making.
So we'll have to see what happens on that.
Another thing, while we're on a tangent, I wanted to bring up. Have you watched much of Pedro with Chelsea, João Pedro?
Bits and pieces. He's a nice player.
Who do you have with Pedro or Ekitike?
Ekitike, he's bigger. He's bigger. He's more.
Pedro's big as well.
And Ekitike's like 6'5".
I think in Pedro like 6'3" or something.
He looks about 6'2". Ekitike is huge, and he's gangly, and he's.
Hey,
long.
I love Ekitike. I'm just saying Pedro is just as good, if not better, in the air. He's probably better in the air than Ekitike.
I like 186. I don't want. It always gives me in measurements. Yeah, he's 6'1". I was right.
Oh, okay.
And then Ekitike, I'm sure he's like 6'4". 6'3".
6'3".
Yes, he's 6'3". He's the gripe with Ekitike, and the thing is, Ekitike can just play more football. Like, he can play off the striker, he can go wider, he can drip into the channels. He's someone who you can feed the ball sort of anywhere on a football pitch, and he's never uncomfortable. I think
Pedro. I would argue Pedro is the same way. He played at the 10 for the first half of the season.
Yeah, but Chelsea were like, eh. Like, he's fine. Don't get me wrong. Like, he's a good player. I like Ekitike more. And
I think as a raw talent, I like Ekitike. But if I had to grade them now, I'd probably.
I mean, they're also just a little
Pedro
different.
the edge.
If Chelsea are a contender going forward, Pedro's going to be a number 9. Whereas Ekitike for Liverpool, assuming everything gets back to health with Isak, he's going to be more of a second striker type. It's more going to be Wirtz and him, like, he's sort of gluing everything together. Like, he won't be like a 25, 35 goal a season striker. He's going to be more like around 20-ish, and he's doing that extra connective tissues type work.
All I'm saying, as a duo, give me Cole Palmer and João Pedro over Wirtz and Ekitike.
I don't know if you can win a title with Cole Palmer.
As a duo, I don't think you can win a title with Wirtz as your best player.
Wirtz won't be your best player.
Well, yeah.
He'll be at best third.
Yeah. But
because you have Isak and Ekitike, who when they're on form are both better than Florian Wirtz.
Yes.
And also, the nature of Palmer's game is that he sort of needs everything to roll through him. He can't just be a cog.
Yeah.
Like, to get the best out of Cole Palmer, you have to run it through him. Whereas Wirtz, he doesn't have to have everything run through him. Ekitike and Isak don't need to have everything run through them.
I would disagree with that with Wirtz because at the start of the season they tried to play him as a cog and it didn't work.
No, but
they tried to play him in the system and it doesn't work. You have to adjust your system for him.
You also have old man Mo Salah who can't run in behind anymore, and you don't have a passer in midfield who can get him the ball. So, look, I think Wirtz is a bit of a fairy. I also think that him as a cog will be fine. It's just that you need other cogs to make him.
That's my problem with Wirtz. He's my least favourite. I know this is probably not going to age well. He is a fairy, and
he's skinny.
Everyone loves him. I have not seen him play excellent football this year.
I mean, listen.
People are so nice to him. Like, and he doesn't deserve it. He hasn't been that good.
I mean, listen, I understand that. I think a lot of it is that Liverpool haven't really had his type of player since, like, that small, diminutive, creative type since Coutinho. So I think for that reason, your fans are giving him a bit more leeway.
Prime Coutinho is levels on the.
No. I'm saying that type of player. That type of player who's a small, diminutive, tight spaces creation.
Yeah.
Because Firmino wasn't that, because Firmino basically got turned into a striker under Klopp. And then you never signed Nabil Fekir, who was going to be your Coutinho replacement. And then you have, you've not really signed that type of player for a long time. It's the same reason why you guys gave Thiago so much leeway, even though he was a cripple and a front runner. So, yeah, like I said, I think those types of players, the Wirtz type, and Wirtz is smart, he runs well, he's got some intensity to him. It's just that he can be a good cog, but you need other good cogs. Like, you need someone who's going to stretch the pitch for him. You can't have Mo Salah invading his space. You need a fullback who's going to overlap. And then he can help bring everything together. He's a good glue guy. I like him.
All I'm saying my argument is, if you told me today as a Liverpool fan, I can trade Ekatike and Wirtz for João Pedro and Cole Palmer. I'd do it in an instant.
I don't think Pedro and Isak could play together that much. And even then, all the issues that you have with Wirtz...
I'm just talking about, regardless of, like, fit right now with the rest of the team.
Stop watching basketball. You're talking about basketball terms too much.
What do you mean? Regardless of fit?
Your entire issues all the issues this season are because the blend doesn't work together, because you have one of your 10 best players ever who's old and washed.
No, but the point is Liverpool we're in a transition stage where we are now saying, well, Salah's washed, so we need to build around someone new, and we're saying, okay, we're going to build this team around Ekatike and Wirtz. I'm saying, if we want to build a team around someone,
around those two though.
I would rather build around Palmer and Pedro than Ekatike and Wirtz.
You got a 6-foot gunman with a broken leg. He's going to be healthy soon.
What do you mean?
Isak's your best player when he's healthy.
We haven't seen him healthy yet.
Because he didn't have an off-season.
Yeah, he doesn't. So I'm reserving judgment on Isak till next year.
Isak is the only person outside of Benzema who would consistently give Van Dijk trouble. Okay, that's enough. Yeah? Isak is a sniper.
I'm reserving judgment on Isak.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. Listen.
We have seen it happen before where a big name moves to another club.
He's got a bad ankle.
And they lose it. We've seen it before.
He hasn't lost it, Owen. He's just injured.
It happened with Torres going from Liverpool to Chelsea.
Yeah, and do you know what happened with Torres? Torres was rubbish the first half of that season with Liverpool. He was injured, he broke his ankle, and he came back too quick for the World Cup.
So, injury issues. Isak has had injury issues.
He didn't let himself heal.
Until he scores 15 plus goals in a season, I'm reserving judgment.
Now, listen, right? Maybe you can say Wirtz and Pedro... No, Wirtz and Ekatike, you can say that's a less talented duo than Palmer and Pedro to win a title with. I disagree because I think Palmer needs a lot more concessions than Pedro does. I think Palmer has a lot of the same issues that Bruno 3 years ago did. 4, 5 years ago, however many years ago it was when United were last in the title race. So I don't think you can win a title with him. But at the same time, if you want to say they have more raw talent, maybe I guess, but at the same time, Liverpool have 3 elite line, top of the line guys as opposed to just 2 in the form of Palmer and Pedro, assuming health. Like, if we can, I understand it's hard to do this, but if you pick up 25 Isak and you drop him in a Liverpool team, you guys would be comfortably the 3rd best team in the country. You'd be on 60-something points, and you wouldn't be in a title race just because the balance is off still, but even with those things, you would still be in a very good position. Anyway, we spent half an hour on this, which I wasn't expecting.
Now we need to move on.
We do just sort of need to move on because we have a lot more topics to cover. Do we really need to cover the Madrid game?
Well, we're watching it. We're doing the watch along, so we can just talk about it.
No, because there's still the first leg before then. We're going to watch the second leg together.
Yeah.
All right, you know what's... Okay, we'll do 5 minutes on this. I'm going to set a timer on this, and when the timer ends, we have to finish, okay?
Yeah.
So, essentially, Mbappe might have ruined his knee. So
I heard he's missing the first leg, but he's not missing more than he's not missing more than the first leg, is he?
Yes, but he's had this knee issue since before the new year.
Well, I don't think Madrid can beat City without Mbappe.
Madrid are just bad. They're just a bad football team.
Yeah.
And City have their issues, don't get me wrong.
They do.
Like, they're not great defensively. They're not great in terms... They're just not a great, well-drilled unit at the minute. But at the same time, Vinny one game will look like the best player in the world, and the next game he's going to look like Bambi on ice.
Yeah.
Bellingham hasn't had a consistently great stretch of football this season, to be honest with you. And Mbappe is on a bad knee, and he's not been himself, really, since December. They can't defend. Their midfield is pony. Like, Tchouaméni takes 1,000 years to pass the ball. Camavinga is the same player he was in 2022. Like, their defence isn't very good. Like, I don't see a way that, unless City just if Madrid score 3 goals on Wednesday, I'll be stunned. Because Mbappe's not going to be. If they score 3 goals, I'll be stunned.
Yeah.
And if City score 4, I won't be stunned. So
they will have to rely heavily on Vinicius, and I mean Vinicius, he has scored against Prem clubs, but historically he's had some struggles.
He's only battered you lot. He's done well against City, but he only really pummeled you lot.
Yeah, but even then, when we played them the last couple of years, he's been locked up both times.
Yeah,
Conor Bradley locked him up this year.
Yeah, actually, that's right. I'm more thinking of...
he scored in the final, that's what...
Final and...
Yeah.
No, he battered you lot in 3 straight years.
Yeah.
In 2021, the year Virgil was out, 22 he scored in the final, and then 23 at Anfield, he ran riot.
Yeah.
That was the first year I was thinking, bloody hell, Vinny might be top 3-5 in the world.
So yeah, but he has had some challenges against Premier League clubs from what I've watched.
He wasn't very good last year against City.
In recent times.
He was okay. I'm sure he scored a goal, or at least he was decent, but he wasn't great. And in the second leg, he was okay. But I don't know. Bellingham's out, I'm pretty sure. So if it's just Vinny and co, I don't think they can get very far. Because Vinny needs someone who can bounce passes off as well.
Yeah.
And City, they have Haaland.
It only really works with Vinny if you have enough offensive firepower that he's not going to be doubled.
I think with Vinny, it's more of like, do you need a good enough setup to the point where he's not constantly being double teamed? Like, if you can get him the ball and he's like 30 yards from goal in a wide channel, he'll still be great because he's relentless and he's still a great athlete. But I don't know anymore.
But that's why he plays better with people like Mbappe who cause problems, can run in behind, because then that's already a distraction defensively.
I mean, my take is that I think that I don't care who goes at the minute, just one of them has to leave. They just can't play together.
Yeah.
And it's not because they don't want to, because they actually seem to quite like each other. They just can't play together.
Well, I just think they're both kind of cancers. Like, theoretically, their games should work.
No, not now. Mbappe from 2023-24, yes. Where he was still running behind. He's not running behind consistently for the last 2 seasons.
So
2.5 seasons, to be honest with you. Since Messi's left, he's not running behind consistently.
But it means you can't put as much attention on Vinicius, because teams are just doubling Vinicius. If Vinicius is playing without another big offensive threat,
Ninja Turtle won't run in behind anymore.
They are just doubling him. So
when Mbappe first came on the scene, there wasn't another player there was maybe 2 players in the sport who would move off the ball better than him, in like Cristiano and Cavani, and that was it. Haaland comes along, you put him in that conversation, and he's just stopped running off the ball.
They need a cog like Firmino, because it's a bit like the Salah Mane situation, right, where they're both awesome players, but they needed someone like Firmino who was unselfish, who could both let them eat, and it took away from his numbers, and he was happy to sacrifice that.
They're also on opposite flanks. These two won't even play on opposite flanks.
Well, yeah, that's true. So Mane and Salah, there was a bit of distance between them. They weren't having to play with each other, because that would have been a mess.
Right. That takes us to 5 minutes. I'll rant and rave about this more, I'm sure, in the second leg. So, right, we'll move on. We'll move on from there, because that's we do have plenty of other topics to cover today, and I don't want to end up breaking this upload out. So, NBA stuff. Owen is a Celtics fan. Owen is quite worried, but at the same time he's very
I'm not
excited.
worried anymore.
He's worried and excited.
I'm not worried.
Oh, you're not worried? Okay, go ahead.
Not after Tatum's debut.
I was going to say, we've not texted since Tatum made his debut outside of logistics to sort this out. So, Owen, how do you feel?
Have you watched it?
I've seen a few clips.
Okay. So, watching the game, when he came out, I heard he's playing with no minutes restriction. I was like, oh, so he's ready to go. And obviously Joe Mazzulla's his coach, so he's just going to be like, you either go out there and die, or you don't play at all. He doesn't care about giving him no minutes restriction.
If he heard the term minutes restriction, he would fight the doctor.
But I think that's a good thing, because I think Tatum he's a player who cares too much, and that's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing.
No, listen. JJ Redick said something about Luka the other day, and it's like, you would rather someone be fighting with the refs than them not care at all. So it's the same thing with Tatum, right? Tatum's not fighting with refs, but you get the point.
No, what I mean by cares too much is, it's a good thing because it allowed him to come back so quick from injury. He's going to put the work in. He cares a lot. But sometimes with his shooting, he cares too much, as in, like, when he misses, that can affect him. Whereas other players, they'll just chuck up shots, and even if they miss, they'll just be like, okay, the next one's going in. But you can physically see when the moment gets big for Tatum, it starts to affect him mentally. We've seen it in the finals before. And so I think that can be his biggest weakness.
Paul George. He's more Paul George than Carmelo Anthony. And PG's a better player.
But it's so random because he has playoff games which are historical. Like,
yeah,
he has 50-piece games in like the biggest pressure moments. So he can play in big pressure moments. It's just I see his mental state seep through a lot in his shooting, basically. But I'm glad that they didn't play him with a minutes restriction because he started off 0 of 6 from the field, and you could tell he was rusty. Obviously, he hadn't played in 300 days. But then after that, he went like 6 of 8 for the rest of the game. Or was it 6 of 8? Something like that.
I'll pull it now.
But you could tell he was nervous coming out. He stuffed a dunk.
I saw that.
But I was like, I mean, respect for even trying that on your first game back. And then he got that putback dunk, and then he just started hitting everything. And I was like, okay, he feels good. He's played 30 plus minutes. The only sign that he was coming back from injury was the initial rust, and then also how much he was blowing.
He was 6 for 10 and a plus 20. 6 for 16 and a plus 20. He was 6 for 10 after he went over 6.
Yeah, he went over 6 and then he was 6 for 10.
And he was a plus 20 with 13 rebounds and a steal.
But even the thing about Tatum, even when he's streaky with his shooting, he finds other ways to impact winning.
No, he does. So, I mean, just to leap from, like, my issues with Tatum were pretty much always, I thought he played a bit soft. They're similar to some of the issues that I had with Paul George. Where it's like, in Tatum's case, you're 6'10" or whatever you are. You're strong. You can get to the cup. You can get in the post. You can spin a man, and you can get an easy lay-in. So I always had an issue with him in terms of his shot selection and his general approach.
Which he did mature on, especially in the championship year.
Yeah, he's got a lot better than that in the last 2 years as opposed to the years before that. So those were my main critiques of him. I liked, and defensively he's obviously very good. Like, I always thought Brown was a better face-up, man-to-man defender, but Tatum was someone who was very good at the back line, rotating over, helped communicate. He was very good at doing that alongside Horford and Derek White. Like, those are very good connective. Derek White's obviously an all-league on and off the ball defender, and Jaylen Brown he's a bit dopey sometimes, but he's a player's player. He's a one-on-one player, and he's a great on both ends, and he can get buckets whenever he wants to. So, but Tatum is someone who can. I would be more worried if it was Jaylen Brown coming back off this type of injury than it was Tatum. My worry
He's
with
more
Tatum,
reliant on his athleticism.
Yeah, and he's strong, and his values are very much in terms of the fact that he's very much a one-on-one player. He's not a very good passer, whereas Tatum's not a great passer, but you can give him sets to run an offense, and he will do it well. And he's a much better catch-and-shoot guy than Jaylen Brown is. He's just a better shooter in general. And you can get him buckets in the post. You can get him face-up mid-ranges. I know that you guys don't take very much mid-ranges, but that is something that can do.
The narrative was what was winding me up before the game. Everyone's saying, how's it going to fit? They've been saying that for their whole career. And surprise, surprise, Jaylen Brown comes out and has like 25, 7, 7. Even though
Jaylen Brown's more suited. Like, I actually think that, funnily enough, now they're more suited to the roles they're going to be in.
Yes.
Where Brown is the guy who the offense sort of runs in through, and then Tatum, you'll see where I'm going with this in a second. Tatum's the guy who can sort of bring everything together, and he can also get you in 30 off of 18 shots.
Yeah.
Like, they actually remind me of how I think the Kawhi and Paul George duo should have worked.
I was going to bring this up because Tatum and Brown, for me, is what Kawhi and PG should have been.
Yes, except that PG has the fortitude of a 6-year-old in his head. So,
yeah. And the thing I'll give them, they both... We're coming back to the Mane Salah thing. They both think they're better than each other. But
yes.
they can actually play together. And they still have a camaraderie and brotherhood between them. So there is a competitive fire, but it never destroys their relationship on or off the court, which is very rare for players of that caliber who have that big of an ego. So the main thing that I was pleasantly surprised by was how well Tatum fit. I knew he was going to fit into the system, but it seemed to come very naturally. Even when his shooting was bad early on, he knew what to do with the ball. He knew where to put it. He knew how to bring in the other players. He had 5 rebounds, 5 assists at the half. And
I think this Celtics system is really easy to play in. Like, for an NBA player.
Yes.
Like, if you can move, like, if you can run and you can shoot, and you play your role, it's not a very difficult thing, because the offense is always spread.
Yeah.
And it's not spread in the way that the Mavericks one was with Luka and Kyrie, where it's 2 guys making the decisions all of the time, and they run off that. It is very much listen, if you have a guy one-on-one, and you've got to step on him, just take it. Don't give it up. Get to the bucket. Draw the help. If someone's open for a 3, kick it. He can shoot it. If not, just keep running. Mazzulla's made it very easy to play an offense. So I didn't buy the fit thing at all.
His decision-making in the pick and roll, skip pass to the corner, his decision-making was on point. And obviously, you still need to get into a level of like fully trusting your body, but he still has the bounce that he had before. Like, you could see he still had the same bounce, and that's not going to be an issue after he gets minutes. He was physically like labouring with his breathing once he got to like 20, 25 minutes.
That looks worse than it is because all these other players have played 60 games already.
Well, what I was saying is I don't really care about that because all that is game conditioning, and that's why he's come back for 20 games of the regular season.
Exactly.
That's not injury related.
I was going to say, because at the start of the year, everyone's blowing at the end of games. It's just that no one notices because everyone's blowing at the end of the games and no one notices.
Yeah. But the main thing I loved, no minutes restriction, Mazzulla let him play into the flow of the game, and I think we're coming out of the East.
So it's good you mentioned that, because when we spoke about this for the first time a few weeks ago, I said the Knicks. I said I thought they could make a run, and you were like, I don't think so. I definitely think they can. They wouldn't be my pick, because I also think the Celtics will probably make it out the East. I might change this going full playoffs. But the Knicks can definitely... Like, they've just had a very good week. Like, I thought this was a big week for them. You have the Spurs on Sunday afternoon. You have the Raptors, who are a 5 seed, in Toronto. You have the Thunder, and then you have the Nuggets. So that's their Sunday to Friday. I think they've got the Lakers tonight. So we'll see what happens there. This will probably... I don't know when this is going to go up, because I do have to go somewhere after we finish recording this, so I think this might go up during the Lakers game. But I'll be honest, if they lose to the Lakers, I'll be a little concerned. If they beat the Lakers, I'd sort of expect you to be able to beat the Lakers. Mm-hmm. But even then, these other wins, they give me enough, of course. Like, they did a real number on Wemby. And then they beat the Raptors.
I think that's a bit overstated because they were coming off a back-to-back and they'd been on this massive road trip. They were due a loss. Sure,
but at the same time, I don't think, like, the spread for that game, I think, was something like 5 points. So, 4, maybe 3 points, I don't know exactly.
Also, the Spurs game plan that game was just bad because they were trying to feed Wemby because of all the mismatches he had, and they didn't rely on three-point shooting whatsoever, so I don't know why they haven't played any other physical team like that. They've always spread the ball, and they weren't that game for some reason. They were hunting mismatches.
Teams try things, but I'm saying it's not so much that the Knicks won. It's the fact they won by 25. Right? So they won that game comfortably. You played the Raptors. Exactly. You play the Raptors in Toronto, and they're a good 5 seed. They're always difficult to play. They're always difficult to visit. And then you play the Thunder super close, and then you just go to Denver, and you beat them by 40. And Jokic played that game. Jokic had something like 40 points. 10.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with Denver right now.
Yeah, they're...
You see
since
teams...
they're like 6 and 9 or something. Like, they're not good at the minute.
The way you know teams are going to kind of make noise in the postseason is if they're how they're rounding out the season. Like, after the All-Star break, the Knicks are starting to come into form. The Celtics starting to come into form. The Pistons are starting to fall out of form, and so are Denver. And so that's creating questions for me of how they can compete in the postseason.
It's good you mentioned the Pistons because anything lower body always concerns me. Cade's missed a few games now with a quad injury. So...
And he just hasn't played well in big games.
I think that might be a bit of an athleticism thing. Because if someone can't really move... Like, how many guys have really won titles when they're not top-line athletes? Or even made the finals? Like, Jokic did, but he's a big. Luka did, and his shot maker... Everyone has their criticism of Luka. He might be the best shot maker in the league. Just in terms of the variance that he has. Not in terms of generating easy shots, but just in terms of making absurd shots from absurd places and angles. Like, he might be the best in the league. Cade isn't that. Cade's 6'5", 6'6", and, you know, he's good, he's nice, but just he doesn't jump off the screen the way some other guys do.
He's an elite point guard. He runs the pick and roll great, and he has great court vision, can see over the defense. But he's a very easy guard, especially when they've played big. He drops 5 and 25 games, tour dates, all the time in big games. He did it against OKC. He did it against the Spurs. He did it against the Cavs the other night. And who else do the Pistons have that can create their own shot?
That's the next thing I was going to get to. And like part of the reason why I thought the Pistons have a good chance at making a run is because I didn't think Tatum was going to come back. And I wasn't sure if the Knicks really had the juice this year because I wasn't sure how Mike Brown was going to do in replace of Tibbs. But it seems that both of those things, they've gone back the other way now. So now it's not just sort of like a last man standing thing. It's more of like, this team could actually be legitimately... This team might just not be the last man standing. They might have to beat some teams. Like you said, they don't have a second banana. They don't have someone who can really go out and get their own shot. Their defense isn't great to the point where you're like, oh yeah, they can easily go out and smack someone up. Mm-hmm. So we'll have to see what happens out there. So we both like the Celtics at the minute. Do you think they're comfortably the best, or do you think they're more of like or do you think there's a smaller gap in the field?
So the big keys that I'm watching, so obviously the two teams I'm rooting for this year out of both conferences are the Celtics and the Spurs. And I think the first seed is sneaky really important for the Celtics. And I think the first seed in the West depends on how all of those teams, the Nuggets, Rockets and Lakers finish, and Timberwolves, because they're all kind of similar records right now.
So just to give everyone an idea, so the Spurs are 6.5. So the Spurs are basically guaranteed to be a top 2 seed because the third seed is 9.5 games back of OKC, and the Spurs are only 3 games back. So 6.5 games separates 2 and 3, and then 3 through 6 is really tight. It's only a game and a half. The Spurs are in the 7. No, the Suns, not the Spurs. The Suns are in the 7 seed, and they're 2 games behind the 6 seed Lakers. So 3 through 6 is where it is at the minute. It's just about what order that's going to be in.
Yeah.
Out east, the Celtics are 3.5 games behind Detroit. If we were to say a week ago, that's pretty much locked up for Detroit, nobody would have blinked. And now all of a sudden, you might be able to go down as far as...
It's in contention now.
The Knicks might be able to get the 1 seed in because they're only 5 games back. The Cavs won't. I think 6.5 games is too much ground to make up. But 5 games, I think, can be done. So...
I think it's important for the Celtics to try and get the 1 seed because it means we'd avoid the Knicks in the second round. Which is big because if we play the Knicks in the second round, I think we win, but I think it goes 6 or 7.
I think that is also not ideal for Tatum. His first real... Tatum's
very intense physically.
Exactly, because that's probably going to be his first series where it's actually any stress at all. Because let's say they have the Cavs in round 2. Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone's really... you can just roll the ball over to James Harden in the playoffs, and he'll do James Harden things.
What we really want is for the Knicks and Pistons to meet each other round 2, right? Because they're so physical, they're both just going to beat each other up over a 7-game series. And then whoever comes out of that to the conference finals is going to be battered and not be able to play with the same intensity. So that's what the Celtics ideally want. So I really want us to chase down the Pistons to avoid the Knicks in round 2. Because for me, that's a pretty straight... If we get the 1 seed, I think that's a straightforward route to the finals, really. Because I could even see the Pistons beating the Knicks just based off pure hatred.
Just off matchups and that, like they match up because the Knicks aren't a big scoring team. The Pistons cannot beat the Celtics. It's impossible. You guys defend too well, and they don't have enough scoring to be able to do. They don't have enough scoring to be able to keep up with you guys.
The Knicks have proven they can last year, but I also think Tatum would have a bit of a chip on his shoulder playing the Knicks after last year.
That and the fact that if we're honest, of those 4 games that the Knicks won, 2 of those were implausible. Like, they were insane. And I think that what Mazzulla might have learned from last year is that in the last 3 to 5 minutes of playoff games, screw the philosophy and just let your best guys get buckets. Like, let Jaylen Brown shoot a 15-foot mid-range pull-up. Let Jason Tatum go in the post and get a bucket. So I don't understand it. This is just a little tangent now I'm going to go on. I don't understand how teams didn't see the 2018 Rockets miss 30 straight threes against the Warriors and think, let's never be that reliant on 2 shots ever again. Let's have some mid-range counters in there and some extra leverage in there. But the Celtics didn't last year. And it's just like, listen, you trying to hack mathematics is not unique, right? Just play basketball and let your best guys get some buckets late in the game. Because there has only been one team to ever win the title where they just did advanced mathematics. And now, okay, it was the Celtics in 2024. But at the same time, a lot of those games were close, right? On other nights, the Mavs could have stolen Game 3. And all of a sudden, now it's 2-2 going back to the Garden, and now it's a best of 3. And Luka's the best player in this series, and Luka's not as exasperated anymore because it's only 2-2 as opposed to 3-1 back in Boston Garden. So, yeah, that's just a little tangent. I would like to think Mazzulla has learned from his mistakes a bit, and he'll allow guys to get to sort of riff on their own a little bit more late in the game as opposed to just having to shoot threes or layups.
Yeah. Even when we played the Mavs, it wasn't purely mathematics in the final. Like, it was more Tatum and Brown were quite ball dominant. So that was kind of different to how we've been playing all year. But I also want to talk about the Cavs.
And even a lot of it still was because of the fact that Luka couldn't deal with the same level of intensity, possession in, possession out, and he couldn't deal with going full court against Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't an offensive title win for you guys. That was elite defense, full court, 94 feet against Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
Sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're fine. I just wanted to go into Cavs a bit before we finish this segment. Because I just give the Cavs 0 chance of winning the East.
I agree, they're done.
They've had so many injuries. Mitchell and Harden have barely played together. I don't think they're good enough anyway. I don't think historically Harden's teams really make any playoff runs. So I just don't think they're there. And so I think it's a bit of a 3-horse race. And Detroit is the weakest right now. And I'd probably give the Celtics the edge. I think we kind of agree on that.
Yeah, definitely. My thing with Harden is... No, my thing with the Cavs is just... I don't think they thought they were going to win the title this year. I think their thing was, we want LeBron back. Let's make this attractive for him. And we can bring him back in the offseason. I don't think that they thought they were going to win it. I don't think this year was ever viewed as a real title contention for them.
If they're smart, that's what they're doing.
Yes. So I think we'll wrap it up on the NBA stuff there. Obviously, I'm sure we'll watch plenty of basketball together when we're over there, so we'll be able to shoot a few more of these. Next stuff. So there's been 3 pretty big NFL trades, and they're all involving the 3 most preeminent teams in the AFC through the last 3 years. So the Chiefs have traded their best cornerback in Trent McDuffie. They traded him away to the Rams for a few picks. The Ravens have got their hands on Max Crosby, who is one of the premier pass rushers in the league, and the Bills have got their hands on a receiver in the form of DJ Moore. So Owen is a Chiefs fan. So we're going to start on McDuffie and the Chiefs. Owen, what did you think when you first heard the move? Are you happy? Are you annoyed? What do you think?
It's more. I think it's more of a move that gets me thinking about what direction are the Chiefs looking, and it's more building for the future. Because
I'm just getting the training stuff, by the way.
You're fine. I don't think that they are gonna. I think they're kind of viewing this season as, listen, Mahomes is coming off an ACL. We've got to. We're not going to necessarily rely on title hopes. We've got a tough schedule, and we'll try and play Mahomes back into fitness and build some nice pieces around him for the future. Because we've seen it be done with the Patriots, where they have a dynasty. Brady has an ACL injury. They're out of contention for years and years, and then they're able to keep that going. And so I think this just a situation of trade this guy while his value is still high. For the Rams, I love it. Matt Stafford isn't getting any younger, and they need to address the concern in their secondary, because that was their biggest weakness from. They have an awesome pass rush, but the secondary was their biggest weakness from last postseason. So it makes sense for both teams. I mean, for the Chiefs, obviously they get worse, but it's a move where it's like you get worse now to get better later while your star quarterback is injured and you've come off the worst season of your... So I think it's a smart organisational move, but obviously we'll be worse off for it defensively next year. But that's basically my thoughts.
So the Chiefs have had, I'd really say since the 2021 season, the year they lost to Brady in the Super Bowl, they've had a pretty good defense ever since then, to be honest with you. So, no, that was the 2020 season. But even then, the 2021 season, where they had a pretty good defense, and then the 2022 season, the first season where they beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl, they've had one of the best defenses in the league since then. And, you know, a lot of that was built through the draft. So, yes, Trent McDuffie is one of the best cornerbacks in the league. But at the same time, the Chiefs have drafted really well at that end. Like, how many guys in that defense did they really trade for? Not a lot, really. A lot of them were draftees. They were guys who they had picked up and developed. So I don't think that the Chiefs really have much to worry about. And in terms of value of the positions on a defense, I think at best it's third. And to be honest, I think it's probably close to fourth or fifth. I think that edge rushes are the most important.
We've talked about edge rushes, their value.
Exactly. Edge rushers are maybe the most important position on a team that isn't the quarterback. And other defensive linemen to stuff the run. And then your every down linebacker is also super important.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have DB, so cornerbacks are in there. The linebacker that doesn't play every snap. And then maybe, so I'm not particularly worried about that. I get it, it's a very pass-heavy league, but a lot of teams don't play man-to-man anyway. And ultimately, if you can get after... If your defense can get after the quarterback inside 2 to 3 seconds, can your cornerback cover for 2 to 3 seconds is basically what you're asking.
And
most cornerbacks can do that, if under the Chiefs, I think. So
the Chiefs they've already proved that they can pick up a guy in round 2 or 3 and turn him into an all-pro DB. But they need to... They're getting... Where have they had success in the past? Trading their stars while their value's still high, like Tyreek. Get draft picks and build a contender through the draft and develop players, develop guys. And they need to target running backs. They need to target edge rushers. Well,
see, I don't think they need running back.
You don't?
High. Not high. Like, there's talk of them taking a running back with with whatever draft pick they have in the first round.
I think they should, because I mean, I think I put more value on the running backs than you do in the league.
My thing is offenses. You have Mahomes. Just get him protection. They have protection. The offensive line this year was a lot better. Now just go get guys who can get after the quarterback. You can take a running back in the 3rd or 4th round, and you can take him. Just get a guy who's hard running, I think we've had this discussion before, because I feel like I've said this to you before, but at the same time, it's like, if you can get someone who can get through, bust through the line in the 3rd or 4th round, fine. But ultimately, get guys who can get after the quarterback, who can put him in the dirt, and make it easier for your defensive backs to basically do their job. That's what I do.
I think it's scheme specific and team specific. The reason why I think... So it's the Love guy, isn't it? They're talking about the Chiefs taking. Jeremiah Love, is that his name?
I'm pretty sure it's his
I don't watch college football, so I don't know anything about this guy.
Neither do I.
We can both agree on that.
But we know his name.
But
if we know his name, that's a good sign, I think.
And I've heard people's evaluations of him, and they rate him super high. But historically, well, recently, over the last few years, you take a guy in those top spots as a running back, they are going to come in and usually have an immediate impact within their first few seasons.
Would you take a running back? Because the Chiefs have 2 first-round picks now. They have whatever position they are, and they have the Rams pick, so the 29th pick.
Yeah.
So, and you've also got another 5th-round pick. You got 4 picks out of this draft. So you had a 1st, a 5th, a 6th, and a 3rd. And you know that.
I would go after a running back with their first pick. I'd go after this Love guy. I know you'll disagree, but the reason why I think it's so important, Mahomes is coming off an injury. The Chiefs have been very reliant on Mahomes' legs for the last 3 years, basically.
In big spots, yes.
Especially in big spots, but they'd played so bad in the regular season the last couple of years that they've even had to be reliant on... Because Mahomes as a player, his legs are supposed to be there for those big spots, for those special moments where he needs his legs to get them out of certain situations. What it's not meant to be is the team plays so bad that he has to use that all the time. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's become. And him coming off an ACL injury, you want to protect that, and you want a running back who's going to come in and take a pretty heavy load off him and also open up the rest of the field, etc. So I would go after him with the first pick, because that's an obvious hole they need to fill. And he seems pretty nailed on.
I would, because you got 2 first-round picks, I would take him with the second one. I would take a running back with the second one. So,
my only reason I would say that is I disagree with that is because he'll be off the board and he seems like the nailed-on pick to have an immediate impact.
Fair. But then that other second-round pick's basically free. That other first-round pick's basically a free pick. So, I don't know, we'll have to see. Agree to disagree on that.
Yeah.
On the Rams side, this is pretty much in keeping with what they do. They trade away their draft picks and they look to make runs late.
Yeah. I think it's a great move for them.
I mean, Stafford's going to be back. They played the Seahawks really tough this year. They were probably pretty clearly the 2 best teams out in the NFC.
Mm-hmm.
And, we'll have to see. We don't know what's going to happen with the Eagles. We don't know what's going to happen with other teams who are good. We don't know what's going to happen with the 49ers. We don't know what the Cowboys are going to do. We don't know what's going to happen with any team in the NFC North. So, I think it's a good move for them. I think they're probably the favourites. I think they're probably my favourites going into next year to come out the NFC. Just super early, obviously. We don't know what's going to happen. We still need to see the other moves. But this is a good move for them.
They've got some young defensive players. They probably view the Seahawks as their biggest rival next year as well, because they're keeping most of their guys. And McDuffie can guard JSN. I think they've seen a hole in there. I think they felt like they were the better team anyway. They just maybe had a few more weaknesses. A few more chinks in the armour.
So, speaking of how to construct a team, Ravens, they did what I think teams should do. Get pass rushers. They've got Max Crosby, who they traded away 2 first-round picks, which is a lot, because that is a lot. Micah Parsons went for 2. I think Jalen Ramsey went for 2. They were quite the Jets cornerback Sauce Gardner, he went for 2. So a lot of these moves don't work out.
Yeah.
The Ramsey one did, but a lot of these don't. It was just 2 first-round picks. So this year, the 14th overall, and next year's 2027 first-round pick. And obviously, the Raiders are booty, so I don't really care to talk about them.
Yeah. No, me neither.
But the Ravens, their defense struggled. Their defense for the first 2/3, no, for maybe 60% of games over the past 2 years has been rubbish because they insisted on playing double high safety as opposed to single high safety and bringing the guy down in the box. Now you have Max Crosby, who is a guy who, I'm going to pull his sack numbers now, who has led the league in tackles for losses 2 years in a row. Not this past year, but the year before and the year before that.
Yeah.
So 2 of the last 3 years, he's led the league in tackles for losses. He's 28 years old. He's been 2-time first team. He's been 2-time second team All Pro. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler. He's gone 10 sacks, 7 sacks, 8 sacks, 12.5 sacks, 14.5 sacks, 7.5 sacks in 12 games, 10 sacks in 15 games. The guy is a sack machine who has led the league in tackles for losses in 22 and 23 with 22 and 23. So the years match up with this thing, funnily enough. He forces fumbles. He gets after the quarterback. And even last year, he had 28 tackles for losses, which beats the 2 years that he actually did lead the league in it. And obviously, he played 2 less games than he did in those other leagues. I think this is a slam dunk move.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any way that you can really pick against this. The Ravens are in a point where Lamar is aging. Derrick Henry is aging. You've got Jesse Minter in. He's a good head coach. Well, he's a good defensive coordinator. You get some players for his side of the ball. And he was making the most out of less than stellar defensive talent in Los Angeles with the Chargers. Forget going after a wide receiver. Like, you don't need that. Run the ball with Derrick Henry. Run the ball with Lamar Jackson. Let him pick up first downs with the legs. Let him throw the ball over the middle. Let him throw the ball to some speedsters. And then get Max Crosby, get those guys on the edge to win you the ball back. Get back to Ravens' identity. Play tough, hands in the dirt, tackle guys, hit guys hard, win the day on special.
It's such an obvious move because it fits their identity for the last 20 years. Like he's a defensive wrecker, and that's exactly what they needed because their defensive fell off last year. So I don't really have much to say about it. I just think, like you, it's a great move.
The other thing is that Max Crosby, like the Cowboys, they're just so cheap with their resources. They said we'll give you a first and a second for Max Crosby, and the Ravens were just like, okay, fine, take 2 firsts. And the Ravens' defense is not as bad as the Cowboys' one. And the Cowboys are arguably in as win-now mode as the Ravens are. Dak's not getting any younger. You've got 2 receivers. Your defense is awful because you traded away Micah Parsons.
You needed that.
And you just let him waltz over to the other side.
I think it's also Jerry Jones being stubborn about moving Micah. Because he was clearly saying we don't need this top defensive end kind of guy.
But here's the thing. So what's Max Crosby's contract? I'm going to check this. Because he must have had a second contract by now.
Yeah, he's been in the league longer than Micah had, so...
Yeah, 3-year, $106 million last March. So he still has 2 years left on his deal. Okay, you're going to have to pay him again. But at the same time, you were going to have to pay Micah again. So you should have just shut up, paid the money, and be gone with it.
Yeah.
So
they should have just paid Micah. They should have never moved him.
Exactly.
But this is Jerry Jones realising he was wrong and not wanting to fix it.
Yeah, so Crosby's under contract for 4 more years. 26, 27, 28, and 29. And okay, he is cheaper than Micah would have been, but Micah's also better. Or at least he was, until he blew his knee out. So, we'll have to see what happens. I like this for the Ravens a lot, but I'll be honest, I think just a lot of their issues are just on the fact that they insist on throwing the ball too much. Forget all this fancy play design. Lamar Jackson is the best running quarterback that we've ever seen. Derrick Henry is a top 10 running back ever. Derrick Henry is still a top 5 running back in the league. Run the damn ball and focus on using your tight ends in Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews. I think they're both coming back. And then you obviously have some receivers there, have some speedsters. Utilize with that. Stop spending all these assets on receivers to give Lamar fancy passing numbers. Run the ball and get over the line with the extras.
And Lamar needs to recognise what he is and what he's not. Because he thinks
I don't even blame Lamar as much for that. At the end of the day, it's the coach's job. The coaches call the plays. So, Lamar just isn't a pure pocket passer quarterback. Just accept that and move on.
Yeah.
Look, the Bills accepted it. We're going to move on to that. I think this is a natural sequence. Yeah, the Bills accepted Josh Allen is not a drop-back quarterback. The Bills accepted that we have the best dual-threat quarterback in the league, maybe. It's either Lamar, and if it's not Lamar, then the last one who was this good was Cam Newton.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Josh Allen is Cam Newton, but he's a better thrower of the football. So, you know, they accepted it, and they won a lot more games for it. Yeah. So, right. They got DJ Moore. As I'm cussing them out as I'm blasting one team, I'm saying don't spend assets on receivers. They decided to trade away a second-round pick, and they got DJ Moore and a fifth-rounder in return. What do you think?
Well, it's another weapon for Josh Allen. Do I see it having that big of an impact? I mean, DJ Moore was kind of Chicago Bears' third guy this year. So I don't see him being a number one, as people might try and claim that he could be. Like, he was playing behind two rookies in Chicago this year. Like, I'm not that super high on him.
I think they should have traded for Max Crosby.
Chicago?
No, the Bills.
Oh, the Bills.
I don't know if they had the money, but I think they should have gone for it.
They need to fix their defensive line as well.
Their defense is worse than the Ravens.
Yes.
And I would trust Jesse Minter to fix up that Ravens defense with less talent as opposed to Joe Brady and the rest of the crew.
It feels like another Stephon Diggs kind of move. And it's like, Josh Allen is fine. When he has Kincaid and then boys to throw the ball to, he is fine and he still produces. I mean, obviously he does need a few more weapons. Also, I haven't really looked at what they traded DJ Moore for, so they might have got him a good value.
Just a second rounder.
That's fine then. It's like a good move.
60th pick.
It's a good move for the value, but do I think it's going to drastically change? The Bills, no. I think they need to make some defensive moves before next season, especially if they're going to go with Joe Brady.
I mean, I'm pulling this. For some reason, it's Pro Football Reference doesn't believe I'm human. So
right, okay.
Last year they had a top 5 offense. Like their problem isn't scoring the ball.
Yeah.
Their problem is the fact that they turned into the 12th best defense against the ball, and they were 11th the year before, whereas the year before that they were consistently top 5. So their issue is, and that was with Sean McDermott, who's a defensive head coach. So
yeah. So we're both like, that it's a good move for the value, but it's not addressing your biggest holes.
Exactly. I just think this is a case of, people were saying, Josh Allen has no weapons. The best quarterbacks don't necessarily need weapons. Tom Brady won with a bunch of white dudes who we didn't know their names. They looked like they should have been working in science. They looked like they should have been teaching us physics and chemistry when we were in year 11. They looked like Mahomes won the title with a bunch of guys who can't catch a ball, who couldn't catch. They couldn't win it the whole year. Josh Allen is supposed to be as good as Patrick Mahomes, if you were to believe. Is supposed to be as talented and as good as Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. Whether or not that's true or not is an entirely different conversation. We're not talking about that. Why is it that people can blame Joe Brady or Sean McDermott? No. The best quarterbacks don't need elite weapons to win titles.
No,
I agree. Just give them a good defense.
They need a good running game, which Allen has. They need a good defense. And then they can, like you say, they don't need top-tier receivers. We're both in agreement on that.
I think receivers is the most overvalued position in the sport.
Yeah.
I think offensive linemen. I think defensive linemen. Honestly, I might even go tight ends at this point because they can block and pass.
I don't know why wide receivers get paid so much compared to running backs. Running backs are so underpaid.
I disagree on that. I think every offensive position outside of quarterback and offensive lines are overpaid. Like, the defenders should be paid more. Because if you have an elite quarterback, these guys should be paid. So, I don't know. That's an entirely different thing. But I think we'll wrap it there. We got through everything we wanted to get through. Actually, no. Let's quickly do Champions League pick for the first leg on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Is the next one we're doing, is that the watch-along?
No. So, we'll do one next week because I get to you on Saturday. So, we'll probably record one on Sunday and get it out then.
Yeah.
And then we'll do a watch-along and then we'll probably do one at the weekend as well. So, you have a little bonus episode, everyone. You get to see me and Owen together, and you may or may not see me crashing out. Because initially we were going to go to a bar to watch this, but I'm not doing a watch-along in a public place. I refuse to do that. I will give you the watch-along, but I'm not doing it at a bar, like a little...
As well, these might be one of the last ones we do, because I'm going back, not forever, but I have mates around the week after you go, and then I'll be back in Sheffield with my fiance's family for a few weeks as well.
Yeah, Owen's getting married, everyone.
Yeah, so we'll do other episodes, obviously, but it might be for a while.
Things out. It's not everything not set in stone, but we'll definitely do some more of these after. So quickly, just doing some picks. So Tuesday, we've got Galatasaray, Liverpool, Atlanta, Bayern, Atleti, Tottenham, and Newcastle, Barcelona. So Owen, shoot from the hip, Galatasaray, Liverpool. Give me a score.
Liverpool 1-0.
In Galatasaray, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, Atalanta hosting Bayern.
Bayern 3-1.
Okay, Atleti and Spurs.
Who's home?
Atleti are hosting Spurs.
2-0 Atletico.
Okay, and then Newcastle against Barcelona. This is at St James's.
Barcelona 2-1.
Okay, I'll go 2-1 Liverpool. I'm going 1-1 with Atlanta Bayern. I'm going 1-0 with Atleti and Spurs. And then what was your score for Newcastle Barcelona, sorry?
2-1 Barcelona.
I think they're going to smack them. I think they'll beat them 3-0 or 3-1.
Okay.
And then, next day we've got Leverkusen host Arsenal.
They're getting smacked. 2-0, actually.
Okay, I think 2-0 as well. Bodo Glimt are hosting Sporting.
I don't care.
Just give a number, you piece. We're supposed to be equitable.
Sporting 3-2.
I'm going to go 1-1. PSG are hosting Chelsea.
They're hosting them.
Yeah, they're at home.
I'm going to go 1-1.
And then Real Madrid are hosting City.
2-1 City.
Okay. I'm going 2-0 Arsenal Leverkusen, 1-1 with Sporting and Bodo. PSG Chelsea. I think Chelsea might do them. I'll go 2-1 Chelsea. And then, with all the Madrid injury news, I don't think they can win here. I think City will win. Actually, I think this one will be a draw. I think 1-1.
Just because of being at home.
Right, that's us wrapped, everyone. So the next one of these, I will be in Spain with Owen, and we will be recording from there, and then we will be doing the watch along a few days after that, which will be on the Tuesday. The second game, Owen and I are going to find a bar that shows Liverpool's home leg against Galatasaray. We have to see that. I need to see if this sports bar is actually cursed. Actually, no.
Well, if it's the same day as Madrid City, then we'll have to watch that one instead.
No, it won't be, because it's going to be the same day as Newcastle Barcelona. We're going to need to find a bar that is showing a Liverpool game on one screen.
That's fine.
So that's us wrapped, everyone. We'll speak to you all again soon. Bye bye.